Hey, good morning, everyone. I thought that was pretty cute. I, I run across some pretty funny things, to tell you the truth. So, I'll put back on this where it is loading on. You know, you think you're all prepared, and then your cat goes out the front door, and you're like, no, come back, Heidi. Good morning, everyone. So today is Friday, October 7th. Next week is the Mancuso show in Santa Clara. John and I will be going on Wednesday. It's not open to the public on Wednesday, but we have a nice relationship with them, and they let us come in and get pictures so that we can share with you and help promote the show. I think it starts on Friday, but look, it's called PIQF for Pacific International Quilting Festival. And you know, they have shows all over the nation. Super David Mancuso is so dang nice. And I think Peter might have retired. I'm not quite sure, but I look forward to seeing everybody. And the really cool thing about being able to go early is that I can catch up with vendors and stuff like that. I don't like to take vendors' time when it's open to the public because that's not fair. They're there to sell, right? So I love seeing your faces. I love seeing your faces and your names and all that. Okay, today we're going to do two kinds of facing, all right? I have a way that I do it that then you can hang it with a quilt rod. D. Christopher at Retreat had another way to do it that was 10 times easier. But when you go to face your quilt, you're going to have to determine how it's going to be hung before you go at it, all right? And she came by last night. She just got back from Michigan, Ann Arbor Sewing Center, and she picked up her stuff from Retreat. I mean, wow. And I said, I'm not going to give this back to you, okay? At least not now. I need it as a teaching tool. At Retreat, she really she stood up and did it right. She did Dee's 6 favorite hacks. John came up with that, and some really cool, completely unrelated things, and this was one of them. All right, New Zealand. Wow, Jennifer. Okay, I don't have a lot to show before, but this is Renda, Rhenda. Renda. And this was made from Candace's show that's airing right now. I showed you something on Wednesday also. And I believe she said she had jelly roll strips. John, I lost my paperwork again. Jelly roll strips that she, so I don't think I need it, John. Got with vegetables on it. Okay, I'm talking all over the place. What a dork. Anyways, I thought that was really super fun. It's fun when we have a show. Now Candace did different things, but this particular project that she did in a segment, I think really resonated because I've already gotten 2 pictures from it. Often we're looking for something quick, fun, easy. And I would say, like for a baby quilt or something like that. Do you see it? I don't need, oh, it's right here. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Can you get that? Thank you. John's doing okay, by the way. We went back in yesterday and everything seems to be healing fine. But I think it was a little more invasive than any of us really thought. Okay. Oh, this is really important. You know how we had the contest for the circle maker, Bernina? We have, there were three winners, Marilyn Black, Carol Dentremont, and Sharon Rogers. We have gotten hold of Marilyn Black and Carol Dentremont, but Sharon, we have been trying to reach. It will become the email that you receive, Sharon, will be from Kristen at the Quilt Show. So please go Google it because we want to get that circle maker to you. All right. So Kristen at the Quilt Show. That's the email you want to go looking for. Okay. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay. I've heard this before, but I want to put this out there. Peg got hold of me last Wednesday. We talked about removing creases from fabric, right? And we had a really great tip. Well, this is what Peg said, and I have heard this, all right? She mixes vodka and water. Vodka and water. And it will take out the creases, all right? I mean, you'd spray it, let it rest, and then iron it. Of course, you always want to test it. But also, this is what I'd heard. When you go see things like, Cats or, Wicked or whatever, you've got this massive fabric thing going on or costume thing going on, and they use it for that too, to get rid of body odor smells. And her daughter was in the Peace Corps. I was going to say this, Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan. I said, John, where is that? And he had to explain it to me. But they would use it to get the stink out of their clothing because getting your clothes clean there was a huge challenge. Now, that said, oh, also, here's another thing with vodka and water. Besides happy hour, if you pick out stitches and you want to get rid of the holes, because sometimes there's little holes, just spray, let rest, and press. That's it.
And afterwards drink it.
And then afterwards drink it.
If it doesn't work, you don't care.
Yeah, and then John said if it doesn't work, if you drink it, then you don't care. But she did say, which is funny, it is in her sewing room. And it always starts up a really good conversation when people come and visit. So, Peg, thank you. Always test, no matter what you're going to put on your quilt, whether it's markings, vodka, whatever, test it first because sometimes funny things can happen, as you know. So I thought that was super cool. Thank you, Peg, for passing that on. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Jean sent this in for her improv. I love this. Okay? I don't just like it, I love it. And she was doing this before she cut into her Oakshots to make sure she had it down. Now, she said the placement was hard. Yeah, it is hard. But I mean, look at this. I love the way there's just little shots of red here and there, and your eye has to travel over the entire surface. It's not like there's a red, in three places that are not balanced. I love, Jean, that you incorporated the soft curved piecing with the sticks. I love it. I have not seen that before. So I wrote her back and I told her how much I loved it. And I said, time to cut into your oak shots. Girl, you got it down. All right. Then, then that's it for now. And then, so here's the deal. Yeah. This is the order I'm going to go in. Let's take a look at how I face a quilt. And then we'll go to D's, and then I'll talk about this weekend. How's that sound for a plan? Is there a way to get out washable glue without washing the entire block? Susan, I don't know. Maybe one of you could put something there. I wouldn't want to wash a block, to tell you the truth, till it was all sewed together in a quilt. Yeah. Okay, let me get up here. I got to go to my computer and, oh, look at that. I have to get rid of some of this stuff, I want to go to PowerPoint. Okay, are we good? John Anderson, are we good? Give him a second. This is where we let off. All you piecing all these little things. John, can you see it?
It looks fine.
Okay. So, oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Here we go. So here's where we're at. I talked about sewing it together randomly and all that good stuff. And here it is finished, for lack of better words, ready to quilt. Actually, no, this has been pieced and quilted. I take it back. Note how there is always extra backing and there's always extra batting. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do, because you don't have points at any of the edges, is square this puppy up so it's a good rectangle. I use my rulers and I make sure that it measures the same amount at the top and at the bottom in width, and then same way on the sides. One time, I'll tell you, I hung it on my wall. I was trying desperately to find that picture and I couldn't find it, but it was my dad's quilt. And I needed plumb lines because it was pretty big. I needed plumb lines. I don't have plumb lines. So I went to John's workbench and I got 2 faucets, like outdoor faucets. I hung it on a string on each side, and then I used that as my plumb line. So however you're going to get it straight and even, that's your job. Okay, so there now it's cut and even. Yay. So this can get a little confusing. I'm going to try and be extremely clear. I'll take questions at the end. What I'm showing you now is how to do a facing where you will have a sleeve where you can hang the quilt, okay? So the first thing you're going to do, what am I doing with that rotary cutter there? This is an old slide. And my Quilter Select ruler there, and Matt. I'm gonna, for this 2 sides and the bottom, I'm gonna cut, I'm making this up, 2.5 inches wide. Cut whatever you want. Don't go too small, don't go too big. So the sides and the bottom are the same width of strips. If it's a large quilt, of course, you'll have to piece it. But typically, these quilts of mine are not that large. So the first thing you're going to do is on one side of each strip, you're going to press a 1/4 inch, okay? Just press it down. Then if you look on the right-hand side, I've put right sides together. The quilt is facing up. That facing is facing down. You can see the fold is to the inside, and to the right, I do a really good 1/4 inch. Don't be wonky, pay attention. Okay, so there now I've sewn it on both sides, okay? And it's still hanging towards the facing towards the inside of the quilt, okay? Then you're going to press it out. You're going to take those wings and press it out. Then what I like to do is I take my little 1/4 inch foot and I use this is a Bernina 37D. I don't stitch a 1/4 inch in. I stitch about 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch in, and I use the inside of that foot as my guide. So you want to stitch it really close to the body of the quilt. This just helps smash the whole thing together. There, see that? That's pretty close, and it's not sloppy. And I am a sloppy quilter. I mean, I talk big, but I get impatient. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold it to the back side and you're going to press the HE out of it. You might even want to use some steam. Basically, you're breaking down the edge of the batting and you are whipping it into complete submission. I'm doing this on each side, okay, folks? Then what you can do, you don't have to, but like I take some apple web, or no, I'm sorry, apple stick, and I cut a little strip of it, or I might own, it does come on rolls, and I iron it down, And as with any fusible, you must wait till it's completely cool before you take off the paper. And so I've taken off the paper. I use a pin to release it down. I like a whoop, scratch it down the middle of the tape, and then I press it down. You could see where the edge of it, where that 1/4 inch was, and now it's underneath. I've pressed down. Again, this is on each side. Then you're going to want to trim that off equal to the quilt. You can see how I've trimmed it off to make it even with the outside edge of the quilt. Now, okay, let me think. Let me go forward and go back. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to do both sides. Now you have to do the bottom. And rather, you're going to do the same darn thing, only you're going to leave a little wing of fabric of the facing, and you're going to fold it back equal to the edge of the quilt. All right, see how that's folded. You could even throw a little fusible in there if you wanted, a little apple stick. All right, now what you're going to do is, I got to move this because I got to, using a pin, I'm going to pin it into place, and then I'm going to whip stitch it by hand on both sides. Sorry, you have to do a little hand work. Okay. There's lots of ways to do it. This is just my go-to, although after seeing Dee's, I don't know. So I'm going to sew that. All right. Now you're going to do the top. All right. The top, cut wider, maybe 4.5 inches, 5. This is where the rod is going to go when you're hanging the quilt. So you can see I've pressed the raw edge. It's hanging over big on the left-hand side. I'm going to put some tape on it for grins. I'm going to then fold it over and press it into shape, or press it down. Okay, and you can see that the wing has not been bent over to the back of the quilt yet. Boy, I wish I had better words for you guys. Again, I'm going to put the tape on, and I want to say this. Apple stick is not a permanent fuse. It is a sticky fuse that will hold things in place. Note that I'm not taking the apple stick all the way to the folded edge of the quilt because I will, in the end, need to hand stitch that down. Okay? So then I fold it over, iron it down. I'll stitch it at some point, but unlike the bottom, I'm not going to sew that closed. Now I've got a sleeve that you can hang things through. Now, I'm not sure that let me see, let me get out of this. PowerPoint, close, goodbye. Let me come back to you guys. Beta. There. I'm not sure if you're putting your quilt in a show, if they would accept that. They probably wouldn't, and you'd probably have to do a sleeve the old-fashioned way. Okay? So let me show you D's, which is so ridiculously easy. This out of the way. I want to talk about this in a little bit. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is cut 4 squares that are anywhere between, I'm going to say 2.5 inches, 3 inches, or something like that. Okay, not big. And then you're going to press it, all right, corner to corner. And then you can see here what you would do is you're going to do it in all 4 corners. Just give it a little stitch down, less than 1/4 inch. Where's the, here we go. Then you're going to cut your, hold on guys, I got to reach around the camera. Then you're going to take the width of the quilt. Let's look at this, okay. And you're going to cut, this is 2.5 inch strip that you have now pressed like this. This has been sewn down. Then you put this here. This is like so ridiculously easy. You don't have to fiddle with all that corner stuff. Okay, like that. And then you're going to stitch it down. Stitch it down, all four sides, and then get this. This is just ridiculous. I don't know if Dee thought this up or what, but you're going to turn this inside out. You're going to take a little pokey tool. I love the R&K one. And she also believed in stay stitching this too. And then you just go like this, poke it out a little bit more, press it. And then what you have going is you're going to have four corners with this on it that you can take a rod and put it in there and then hang the thing, okay? It's not a sleeve, it's a rod. And for a smaller piece, it's absolutely perfect. But, oh, that one hasn't been sewed down. Okay. It's absolutely perfect. All right. And I said to Dee, well, then what happens if it's a bigger piece, right? And she said, then what you would do is like put a belt loop on here so that if the stick goes through, it can go underneath the belt loop like that. So I love this. And for my smaller pieces, I can tell you that's how I'm going to be doing it because it's just so much easier. But if I want to be able to put a rod in it, then it's a whole nother situation. Let me get my comments back up and see if you guys have any questions. Why do I face a quilt? Good question, Melanie. Sometimes if you bind a quilt, it takes away from the integrity of the artwork. Many times the quilts that are faced are what I would consider art. I wouldn't face a quilt if it were going to be a quilt to be used because that's the beauty of a binding is that it gives you, especially a double fold binding, it gives you that extra fabric in there.
And then,
Was that what you were going to ask me?
and the ratio of vodka to water.
Oh, the ratio of vodka to water. God, I don't know.
Well, I said one for you, one for the fabric.
Oh, John said one for me and one for the fabric. I don't know. I would Google that. I will Google it. Yeah, so you like, Maritza, the idea of a belt loop. Yeah, I like that too. Let me go back a little bit. Why are you, okay, it's from Madeline. I only sleeve the top. Why are you facing the whole quilt? Is it better for the quilt? It all has to do with the aesthetics of the quilt. That's all it has to do. Connie, thank you for saying I'm a great quilter. What I'm going to say to that is anybody who's had done this 40 years, I should be better than I am. Okay. Okay. All right. So, what's going on this weekend? I got actually a lot of things going on. I know a lot of you know Diana McClenn. She wrote Quilts, Quilts, Quilts with Laura Nouns. Diana has been a mentor of mine throughout my whole career. And also Jean Wells. You know, I got to think about who really my mentors have been. Well, her husband, David, passed away a couple weeks ago. It was pretty rough at the end. Diana hosts our mini group. And so there's going to be a memorial and a celebratory lunch tomorrow. I got to go to Costco. I'm in charge of bringing salad for 100. It's like, okay, just tell me what I need to do. And so that will be, actually, it'll be glorious. It'll be glorious. There's not a lot of men in my life that I just really go, wow, you are something special. And David McClenn was something special, big special, big. He was a vet. He was kind. He was a big man. He was a gentle giant. He was kind. He was about uplifting you. I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful man and Diana's soulmate. But because it got so rugged at the end, it became a blessing when he went. So that's tomorrow. And then Sunday, Lennox is going to come over and sew. It's William. I'm going to show you. It's William's birthday party, and she is clearly not invited to go miniature golfing. And so she has been wanting to sew with me. So we're going to make a pillowcase. And she wanted mermaid fabric. So I was thinking like little cartoony mermaids and stuff like that. Um, and she's no, she wanted mermaid fabric, but this is what she chose: scales. My little girl's gone. She doesn't want cartoon mermaids. And then I've never done this before, but I actually looked up Jenny Doan, and I love how she does it. And then this is going to be the outside edge of. Let me put this down. This is too difficult. This is okay. This is the fabric, and then this is going to be the outside edge, which is a fabric design of mine, which I wanted to put in purposely, but she liked it. And then I said, okay, so what do you want for the little thing? You know, the little thing that goes in between here. This, do you want this? Or do you want this? She thought about it, and I thought maybe she was hating on this. And she goes, I want this. And I thought, good choice, kid. That's the one you want. So I'm going to be doing that on Saturday with her. But what was so sweet is I was taking her to gymnastics, and she said, I'm so excited for Sunday, Bubby. And I said, yeah. She goes, I get to sew. And then she goes, and I get to be with you. I said, are you just blowing smoke? She goes, no, Bubby, I love you. People, right? So, okay, here's some Pauline saying 2 tablespoons of vodka in 250 mls of water, then a glass for you. Exactly. Okay, so next week we start the baskets. Woo! And it's the quilt behind us, all right? We still do have some kits, cave kits. They're absolutely, in my book, beautiful, and plenty of white fabric. We have still some cools, which I'm naturally drawn to the cools, honestly. And then we also have a warm kit. And so it's hot. It's not going to be, it cannot be the same fabrics that are in mine because this was made many, many years ago, but they will mash together as beautifully as what is here. And we were lucky to score polka dots in all cases. So here's what you need to do, people. Go to thequiltshow.com. You can buy the pattern. If you have the old pattern, that'll be fine. And we ran out of them. You could PDF it. It's less expensive. I think there's 6 pages. And or you could buy a hard copy. I just PDF'd it and printed it out on my printer, and really was not happy with what happened here to the color. I keep telling John I need a new printer, but that doesn't matter. All the information you need is right here. All right. So on Monday, we're going to start with the body of the baskets, which are just half square triangles. And I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on what you're going to do with those. And then Wednesday, John and I are going to go over to Mancuso. I don't want to go after this. It's just getting it too late. He spends hours there. I asked him if he could do it. And he says he thinks he can. So we're going to give it a try. And then Friday, I stumbled across something Jennifer Sampu is doing, and it's playing with ombre fabrics. And I'm going to have an interview with her and put together a really cool video that she did. I'm going to show you. I thought it was fascinating, and it gave me a much deeper understanding and appreciation for her ombre fabrics. Right now, I'm going to do the interview with Jennifer. I'm just giving you my to-do list. I'm going to go to a political thing this at noon, and it's someone who's running for school board. I am so politically stupid for town politics that when I got called and invited, I thought, yeah, I want to go, especially now that Adair works in the Livermore School District. And then I'm going to go to Costco and buy more spring mix that is humanly possible to consume in one sitting. So that'll be fun. Okay, do not put the flange on the pillowcases. Oh, if they are for the children's hospitals. Oh my gosh, Vicki, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I don't know, do I wear anklets? Anklets? I don't know what that is. This is Johnny Was. Okay. I think we are so good. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. I have a thing on YouTube about do you have what's in your Bernina? I was using the word eco mode and it's eco for ecology. If you have an eco mode on your Bernina, I have kittens hidden in mine. Yes, I do. Um, um, I'll need to watch this again. And as D with the facing process also, I'm not at this point. D tomorrow is going to be working on the handmade quilt. And it's all about hand piecing, but she's going to show how to translate it into machine piecing. So you're getting 2 for 1 on that. I believe we still have some of those books in the store. And it's a different type of book than what you might get from off most books with patterns, because when you're hand piecing, there's a whole lot of different considerations than with your doing it with your rotary cutter. So I got a letter from somebody and they had questions about it, and it was because it's geared to hand piecing, which is a completely different beast. And that's all Jenny Beyer does, is hand piecing. All right, guys, have a great weekend. On Monday, we're finally going to start. Get your hands on the pattern. We don't have a ton of kits left, but we've got some. So I will see you later. It's going to be simply spectacular here. And if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, it's the Blue Angels weekend, which is fabulous. I Googled, they start at 3 in the afternoonish. Ooh, all those wonderful sailors and ships in San Francisco Bay. Okay, have a good one. Thanks for spending your time with me, and I'll see you Monday.